Evangelist BLT here with another message from God. There was a guy named Saul of Tarsus who was persecuting Christians, and when they stoned Stephen, it says the people laid their clothes down at a young man's feet named Saul. He made havoc of the church. He was scattering the Christians abroad, and they were preaching Jesus Christ everywhere. But he had received letters from the chief priests as he journeyed to Damascus, that if he found any in the synagogue of this way, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And, Saul really thought that he was really helping out and doing God's work, because he was taking these fanatics, man, and he was getting them out of the way. But the Lord appeared to him in a way. A great light shone on him, and he fell to the earth. And he heard a voice speaking unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And Saul answered and said, Who art thou, Lord? He said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. It's hard to fight against God, But, God could have just stopped that persecution right then. Could have just killed him dead on the spot, of course. But, Saul had a zeal. And God said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that zeal around, and I'm going to use it for my glory. Well, when Saul rose from the earth, he was blind, and he sought some to lead him by the hand. And they led him into the city. And, Saul prayed. He actually prayed and everything. He actually heard his voice. He didn't rebel against that voice, Well, that voice is calling a lot of you, and called me too. And just in the nick of time, really, for me. I looked up to heaven and I said, man, can you live? Can you live to 21? Can you possibly make it to 24? I said, man, God, if you are real, I'm in trouble. And I believe that God heard a young man's prayer that day. And he said, I'm going to save that boy, and I'm going to turn that zeal around that he uses to sin with. And I'm going to use that same zeal to glorify and honor me. And that's what he did with Saul. He turned his life around. And he became a Christian. And even the Christians didn't even believe it, man. They were scared of him. They were afraid of him. The Jews said, he's turned against us. Let's kill him. So they had to sneak him around for quite a while, But I said all that to say that, it's hard to fight against God. It's hard to kick against the pricks. That's a fight in a battle you can't win. A lot of the world will say, when you fight against them, it's a battle you can't win. But I really beg to differ. When you fight against God, you can't win. When you fight against his people, you're fighting against God. And it were better that a millstone were hung about your neck and that you were drowned in the depth of the sea. Paul said in Thessalonians, he said, seeing it's a righteous thing with God to recompensate tribulation to them that trouble you. The Bible says that the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and he delivereth them. The Bible says that the eye of the Lord is upon the righteous. His ears open unto their cry. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. It's hard to kick against the pricks.